Hello and welcome. As we journey into our 70s and beyond, life often grants us a unique perspective, a chance to reflect on what truly matters. But have you ever felt, even amidst the wisdom gained, that certain invisible weights might be holding you back from fully embracing the peace and joy this chapter can offer? Perhaps old habits, lingering worries, or attachments from the past? Many people assume that feeling somewhat burdened or limited is simply an inevitable part of the aging process. We think, well, this is just how it is now. But what if that's not the entire story? What if true contentment in later life lies not only in the experiences we've gathered, but also in the burdens we consciously choose to release? There are certain mental habits, emotional patterns, and even physical attachments that can secretly diminish our vitality, peace, and overall well-being after 70, often without us fully realizing their impact. Today, we are going to gently explore 7 specific things, attitudes, expectations, and attachments that frequently and often secretly hold people back after the age of 70. More importantly, we'll discuss why intentionally letting these things go is not just beneficial, but often essential for living a lighter, freer, more peaceful, and ultimately more joyful life in the years ahead. Recognizing these is the first step towards liberation. By understanding these common hindrances and embracing the empowering act of letting go, you can potentially unlock greater contentment, conserve precious energy, reduce unnecessary stress, and create more space to truly savor the present moments and opportunities that life continues to offer. These insights aren't just abstract notions. They are drawn from psychological understanding of healthy aging, timeless wisdom traditions that emphasize detachment, and crucially, the shared experiences of many seniors who have discovered profound peace through the conscious process of release. Some of these points might resonate deeply, perhaps touching on things you've already been grappling with. So please, stay with me, because learning to intentionally release even one of these weights can make a remarkable difference in your daily experience, especially the final point about shedding unnecessary obligations. Let's begin by exploring the first heavy piece of baggage it might be time to consider setting down for good. Thing to let go. 1. Constantly dwelling on past regrets and what-ifs. The first thing to consciously release after 70 is constantly dwelling on past regrets and the endless loop of what-ifs. It's natural to reflect on the past, but getting stuck there, constantly replaying mistakes, lamenting missed opportunities, agonizing over different choices you could have made decades ago. What if I'd taken that job? What if I'd married someone else? What if I'd said? Is a heavy burden to carry into your later years. This kind of rumination keeps your valuable mental and emotional energy anchored in a past that absolutely cannot be changed. It prevents you from fully engaging with and appreciating the present moment, which is the only place life is actually happening. Dwelling on regrets often fuels feelings of sadness, guilt, or bitterness, coloring your current experience negatively and offering no constructive path forward. While learning from the past is wise, living in it through constant regret is counterproductive and draining. The wisdom of 70+ often involves making peace with the path traveled, acknowledging choices made good and bad with the knowledge available then, and turning your focus to the life that is here now. Imagine Mr. Harrison, 78, who spent hours each week mentally rehashing a business decision from his 50s that didn't pan out as hoped. This constant what-if cycle overshadowed his enjoyment of his grandchildren, his gardening, and his peaceful retirement routine. He felt a persistent low-level dissatisfaction rooted in the past. Through conversations with a friend, he began practicing mindfulness and consciously redirecting his thoughts to gratitude for his current blessings. It felt like finally setting down a heavy backpack filled with old, useless maps he'd been carrying unnecessarily for decades, allowing him to walk lighter and actually notice the scenery around him today. Holding on to regret is exactly like that, carrying a heavy, unnecessary weight from a previous journey that only hinders your ability to navigate the path you are on right now. Practice self-compassion. Acknowledge that your past self made the best decisions they could with the information, awareness, and resources available at that time. Forgive yourself for not knowing then what you know now. Extract lessons, then release. If there are genuine lessons learned from past experiences, acknowledge them briefly. Then, make a conscious decision to release the emotional charge, the guilt, the anger, the what if. Focus on the present. Actively engage your senses in the here and now. Practice mindfulness, noticing your breath, the sights and sounds around you, the taste of your food. Cultivate gratitude. Make a daily habit of identifying things you are grateful for today, your health, whatever its state, relationships, simple pleasures, a comfortable home. Engage in meaningful present activities. Fill your time with hobbies, connections, and activities that bring you joy and purpose now. Seek support if needed. If regret feels overwhelming or consuming, talking with a therapist, counselor, spiritual advisor, or trusted friend can provide valuable perspective and tools for letting go. Intentionally letting go of dwelling on past regrets is a profound act of self-kindness in later life. It frees up immense mental and emotional energy, reduces suffering, and allows you to live more fully, peacefully, and joyfully in the present moment, the only time that truly matters. Thing to let go. 2. Internalized ageism and the fear of getting older. The second thing to consciously let go of after 70 is internalized ageism and the pervasive fear of aging itself. We live in a society that often glorifies youth and bombards us with negative stereotypes about aging, depicting it solely as a period of inevitable decline, dependency, irrelevance, unattractiveness, or cognitive loss. The mistake is internalizing these limiting beliefs, allowing them to shape our own self-perception and expectations. When we buy into ageism, we might start believing we are too old to learn new things, try new activities, form new relationships, contribute meaningfully, or even feel attractive or vital. This fear of aging and acceptance of negative stereotypes can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, causing us to unnecessarily restrict our lives, withdraw from opportunities, neglect our potential, and ultimately rob ourselves of the joy and richness available in our later years. Letting go of these limiting beliefs is crucial for embracing the possibilities that still exist. Consider Barbara, 75, who always loved dancing but stopped going to community dances because she felt old and self-conscious compared to younger attendees. Her friend gently challenged this belief, reminding her of her passion and encouraging her to go for the joy of movement, regardless of age. Barbara reluctantly went, focused on the music, and rediscovered a huge source of happiness she had almost let internalized ageism steal from her. Believing negative age stereotypes is like voluntarily putting on a restrictive corset that limits your movement and breath, simply because society suggests it's appropriate for your age. Letting go of those beliefs is like unlacing the corset, allowing yourself to breathe deeply, move freely, and embrace your authentic self with comfort and confidence. Challenge negative thoughts. Become aware of self-limiting thoughts related to age, "I'm too old for," and actively question their validity. Are they truly based on your capabilities or just on a stereotype? Focus on positive role models. Seek out and appreciate examples of older adults who live vibrant, engaged, and fulfilling lives. Learn from their attitudes and approaches. Celebrate your strengths. Acknowledge and value the wisdom, resilience, experience, perspective, and unique skills you've accumulated over a lifetime. These are strengths, not deficits. Stay curious and engaged. Continue learning, trying new things within your physical abilities, and staying connected to the world around you. Age is not a barrier to growth. Redefine beauty and vitality. Challenge narrow, youth-obsessed standards. Embrace the beauty of laugh lines, silver hair, and the confidence that comes with lived experience. Focus on health and vitality, not just appearance. Surround yourself with positivity. Spend time with people who have a positive view of aging and who appreciate you for who you are now. Avoid those who perpetuate negative stereotypes. Letting go of internalized ageism and the fear of aging is profoundly liberating. It frees you to live more fully, confidently, and joyfully in the present stage of life, recognizing your inherent worth and embracing the unique opportunities and strengths that come with experience. Thing to let go. 3. Chronic and excessive worry about the future. The third burden to consciously release after 70 is chronic and excessive worry about the future. While responsible planning for the future is wise, as we've discussed regarding finances and healthcare, getting caught in a persistent cycle of worry about what might happen is incredibly draining and detrimental to present well-being. This includes excessive fretting about potential health decline, outliving savings, negative world events, the problems of adult children or grandchildren, often things outside your direct control, or countless other what-ifs. Chronic worry floods the body with stress hormones, negatively impacting physical health, sleep, digestion, immunity, blood pressure, and significantly diminishing enjoyment of the present moment. It achieves nothing constructive. It simply steals today's peace by focusing on potentially negative outcomes that may or may not ever occur. The wisdom of later life often involves cultivating trust, acceptance, and focusing energy on what is controllable right now. Mrs. Davis, 73, found herself spending hours each day consumed by anxiety about potential future health issues she read about online, or imagining worst-case scenarios for her family members living far away. This constant worry left her feeling perpetually tense and unable to enjoy her hobbies or visits with local friends. She started practicing short, daily mindfulness exercises, focusing on her breath and her immediate surroundings. This simple practice helped her anchor herself in the present and gradually reduce the time spent lost in anxious future tripping. Excessive worry is like sitting in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't actually get you anywhere. It just expends energy fruitlessly while keeping you stuck in one place mentally, preventing you from moving forward or enjoying where you are right now. Distinguish worry from planning. Ask yourself, is this thought process leading to a constructive action I can take now planning? Or is it just repetitive, anxious rumination worry? Practice mindfulness. Engage techniques that bring you into the present moment, focusing on your breath, noticing sensory details around you, mindful walking, mindful eating. Limit worry triggers. If news or certain conversations consistently trigger anxiety, consciously limit your exposure. Focus on what you can control. Direct your energy towards actions you can take today to support your well-being. Healthy habits, social connection, enjoying a hobby, rather than fretting about uncontrollables. Schedule worry time if needed. Some find it helpful to allocate a brief, specific time each day, e.g., 10 minutes to acknowledge worries, then consciously set them aside for the rest of the day. Talk it out constructively. Share concerns with a trusted friend, family member, or therapist, but aim for perspective and solutions rather than just amplifying the anxiety. Cultivate trust and acceptance. Develop practices, spiritual, philosophical, mindfulness-based, that foster acceptance of uncertainty and trust in your ability to cope with whatever comes. Consciously letting go of the habit of excessive worry is a powerful act of self-care. It conserves precious mental and emotional energy, reduces anxiety's physical toll, and frees you to experience more peace, joy, and appreciation in the present moment, which is truly all we ever have. Does worry steal your peace sometimes? Type peace in the comments if you're working on letting worry go. You're like, helps too. Thing to let go. 4. Excessive physical clutter and over-attachment to possessions. The fourth thing to consider letting go of after 70 is excessive physical clutter and an over-attachment to possessions that no longer serve you. Over a lifetime, we naturally accumulate belongings. However, entering our later decades still surrounded by rooms, closets, attics, or garages filled with items we no longer use, need, or even truly love can become a significant physical and mental burden. Managing, cleaning, maintaining, and simply navigating around excess clutter takes time and physical energy that might be better spent elsewhere. Clutter can also contribute to feelings of stress, overwhelm, and feeling stuck. It can even pose safety hazards, trip risks. Difficulty letting go might stem from sentimental value, which is valid, but needs balance, fear of needing something someday, guilt about discarding gifts, or simply feeling too overwhelmed to start the decluttering process. However, consciously letting go of unnecessary possessions can create not just physical space, but also a profound sense of lightness, freedom, and ease, making daily life simpler and more comfortable. It can also be a significant gift to loved ones who won't eventually have to sort through it all. John and Mary, both in their late 70s, lived in the large family home filled with furniture, books, clothes, and memorabilia from decades past. While cherished, the upkeep was becoming exhausting, and the sheer volume of stuff felt overwhelming and prevented them from considering a move to a smaller, more manageable condo they secretly desired. Inspired by a friend who had downsized, they began a slow room-by-room process of sorting, donating, gifting items to children, to grandchildren, and discarding the truly unnecessary. While emotionally challenging at times, the end result was a feeling of immense relief and liberation, paving the way for their desired move. Holding on to excessive clutter in later life is like trying to navigate a small boat overloaded with cargo from past voyages. It makes the boat heavy, unstable, difficult to maneuver, and prevents you from easily sailing into new, more suitable harbors like a smaller home or a simpler lifestyle. Lightening the load makes the journey smoother and safer. Start small and be patient. Don't try to declutter everything at once. Choose one small area, a drawer, a shelf, a corner, and begin there. Progress over perfection. Ask key questions. For each item, ask, have I used this in the last year or few years? Do I truly need it or love it now? Does it fit my current lifestyle? Does it bring me joy or stress? Focus on what to keep, not just what to discard. Intentionally choose the items that are truly useful, beautiful, or hold significant positive meaning for you today. Digitize memories, scan old photos, letters, and important documents to preserve them digitally without the physical bulk. Let go responsibly and meaningfully. Donate usable items to charity. Offer specific, cherished items to family or friends now. Let them choose what they genuinely want. Sell valuable items. Recycle or discard the rest responsibly. Focus on the benefits. Remind yourself of the goal, creating a lighter, safer, easier to manage living space that supports your current life and well-being. Seek help if overwhelmed. Ask family, friends, or consider hiring professional organizers or senior moving specialists if the task feels too daunting alone. Letting go of excessive physical clutter and unnecessary attachments after 70 is a powerful act of simplification. It frees up physical space, reduces stress and workload, improves safety, creates mental clarity, and allows you to live more comfortably and focus your energy on present joys and experiences rather than managing possessions from the past. Thing to let go. Carrying old resentments and the burden of unforgiveness. The fifth heavy weight to consciously release after 70 is carrying old resentments and the corrosive burden of unforgiveness. Life invariably involves experiencing hurt, disappointment, or betrayal from others, perhaps family members, friends, colleagues, or even institutions. While feeling anger or pain initially is natural, holding on to these grievances for years, even decades, nurturing resentments, replaying old hurts, and refusing to forgive takes a profound toll on our own well-being. This emotional baggage doesn't harm the person who wronged us. It primarily poisons our present peace, impacts our mood, strains current relationships, and can even manifest physically through chronic stress, high blood pressure, or weakened immunity. Choosing to forgive in this context is not about condoning past behavior, forgetting what happened, or necessarily reconciling with the person involved. It is fundamentally an act of self-liberation, a decision to release the anger, bitterness, and desire for retribution that keeps us chained to the past and prevents us from experiencing present peace. Carrying resentment is exhausting. Letting it go allows healing and freedom. Consider sisters Helen and Grace, both in their 70s, who had a major falling out 20 years prior. Helen continued to harbor deep resentment, frequently bringing up the past slight, which colored her interactions with other family members and left her feeling perpetually bitter. Grace, while acknowledging the past hurt, eventually worked through her anger, chose to forgive Helen internally for her own peace, even without reconciliation, and focused on building positive relationships and enjoying her present life. Helen remained emotionally burdened, while Grace experienced lightness and greater contentment. Holding on to resentment is often compared to drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Or imagine carrying a backpack filled with heavy, sharp rocks representing past hurts. It only weighs you down, cuts into your shoulders, and makes your journey painful and difficult. Forgiveness is the act of consciously deciding to empty that backpack and leave the rocks behind. Acknowledge the hurt. Allow yourself to feel and validate the pain or anger associated with the past event without judgment. Suppressing feelings isn't helpful. Make a conscious choice. Understand that forgiveness is primarily for your benefit, to release you from the negative emotional grip. Decide you want peace more than you want to hold on to the anger. Seek understanding if possible and safe. Sometimes trying to understand the other person's perspective without excusing their behavior can aid in letting go. Utilize release strategies, journaling about your feelings, writing, and perhaps burning an unsent letter. Talking with a therapist, counselor, or wise, impartial friend, engaging in prayer or spiritual practices focused on forgiveness can all be helpful tools. Focus on present peace and gratitude. Actively shift your focus to positive aspects of your current life and relationships. Reframe forgiveness. Remember, it doesn't mean forgetting, condoning, or necessarily trusting again. It means releasing the desire for revenge or continued suffering related to the past event. Intentionally working to release old resentments and embrace forgiveness primarily for your own sake after 70 is a profound act of emotional decluttering. It frees up vast amounts of energy, reduces chronic stress, improves mental and physical health, fosters inner peace, and allows you to live your remaining years lighter and more open to joy. Thing to let go. #6. Rigid expectations of self and others and resistance to necessary adaptation. The sixth hindrance to let go of for a better life after 70 is holding on to rigid expectations of yourself and others and resisting necessary adaptation. As life unfolds, circumstances change. Our physical abilities evolve, energy levels shift, social roles transform, and the world around us changes. Holding on to rigid expectations, expecting your body to perform exactly as it did at 40, demanding that life remain unchanged, insisting that others conform to your fixed ideas, or stubbornly refusing to adapt to new realities is a guaranteed recipe for frustration, disappointment, and discomfort. This resistance might manifest as refusing helpful mobility aids out of pride, getting angry about needing more rest, complaining bitterly about changes instead of finding ways to adjust, or holding others to unrealistic standards from a bygone era. This rigidity prevents us from gracefully navigating the inevitable changes of aging and finding contentment within our current reality. Flexibility, acceptance, and a willingness to adapt are crucial hallmarks of wisdom in later life. Mr. Johnson, 77, became increasingly isolated and unhappy because he rigidly insisted that social interactions must happen exactly as they did in his youth: formal visits, landline calls only, refusing to learn simple video calling to connect with his grandchildren who lived far away. His resistance to adapting cut him off from precious connections. Compare this to Mrs. Lee, also 77, who embraced learning how to use a tablet for video calls and online groups when her mobility became limited, allowing her to stay vibrantly connected. Rigidity in the face of change is like an old, brittle tree trying to withstand a strong wind. It's likely to snap and break. Flexibility, like a resilient bamboo, allows you to bend, sway, and adapt to the forces of change without breaking, remaining grounded and intact. Practice acceptance. Acknowledge and accept the reality of current circumstances and age-related changes without judgment or constant comparison to the past. Focus on strengths and adaptations. Shift focus from what you've lost to what you still have and can do. Find creative ways to adapt activities you enjoy to match your current abilities, e.g., raised garden beds, chair exercises, audiobooks. Embrace helpful tools. View assistive devices, canes, walkers, hearing aids, magnifiers not as symbols of decline, but as smart tools that enable continued independence and engagement. Cultivate mental flexibility. Be open to trying new things, learning new skills, even basic technology, and considering different perspectives or ways of doing things. Adjust expectations realistically. Modify expectations for yourself, e.g., energy levels, task completion speed, and perhaps for others understanding their own life pressures. Ask for and accept help gracefully. Recognizing when help is needed and accepting it without shame is a sign of strength and wisdom, not weakness. Letting go of rigid expectations and embracing a mindset of flexibility and adaptation is essential for navigating the changes inherent in aging with grace and comfort. It reduces frustration, enhances safety, promotes continued engagement, and allows you to find contentment and joy within your current reality. Thing to let go, #7. The need to please everyone and feeling burdened by over-obligation. And the seventh thing to consciously release after 70 is the deep-seated need to please everyone and feeling weighed down by excessive obligation. Many individuals, often learning this pattern over decades, feel a strong compulsion to constantly say yes, prioritize everyone else's needs and happiness above their own, and avoid conflict or disapproval at all costs. This people-pleasing tendency, perhaps driven by habit, guilt, or a fear of rejection, can become particularly burdensome and detrimental in later life. With potentially more limited energy, health concerns, or fixed finances, continuing to feel obligated to meet every request from adult children, grandchildren, friends, or community groups, even unreasonable ones, can lead directly to physical exhaustion, emotional burnout, financial strain, and deep-seated resentment. Letting go of this compulsion means recognizing that you are not responsible for everyone else's happiness or fixing all their problems, and that your own needs, desires, and well-being are equally valid and deserving of attention. It's about shifting from obligation-driven action to choice-driven action. Consider Evelyn, 74, who felt perpetually overwhelmed. Her days were filled running errands for her daughter, providing extensive childcare for her grandchildren despite her own fatigue, and chairing a community committee she no longer enjoyed, all because she felt she had to and couldn't bear to disappoint anyone. Learning to gently but firmly say no to some requests, delegate tasks, and resign from the committee felt terrifyingly selfish at first, but ultimately freed up immense time and energy, allowing her to rest, pursue her own interests, and feel far less resentful and much more peaceful. Trying to please everyone constantly is like trying to be a universal adapter plug for every electrical socket in the world. You'll inevitably short-circuit and burn out because you weren't designed to meet every single demand simultaneously. Recognizing your own specific capacity, your voltage and plug type, and saying no to incompatible demands protects your system. Identify your people-pleasing triggers. Notice when you say yes out of guilt, obligation, or fear, rather than genuine desire or capacity. Clarify your own priorities. What is truly important for your well-being and happiness right now? Where do you want to invest your limited time and energy? Practice saying no gracefully. Start with small requests. Use simple, polite phrases. Thank you for asking, but I won't be able to do that. Or, my schedule doesn't allow for that right now. Or, that doesn't work for me. Avoid lengthy justifications. Set boundaries on availability. Communicate your limits regarding time, e.g., specific times for calls/visits, energy, e.g., how much childcare you can realistically provide, and finances. Release responsibility for others' feelings. You are not responsible for managing others' disappointment or reactions when you set a healthy boundary. Delegate or suggest alternatives. Instead of automatically doing something, can you suggest another resource or encourage the person to find their own solution? Prioritize self-care without guilt. Recognize that tending to your own needs allows you to show up better when you choose to for others, from a place of willingness, not depletion. Letting go of the exhausting need to please everyone and shedding the weight of excessive obligation after 70 is crucial for preserving your energy, protecting your peace of mind, reducing resentment, and freeing yourself to live your remaining years more authentically and joyfully, according to your own priorities and desires. We have journeyed through 7 significant burdens, mental, emotional, and physical, that often secretly hold people back after 70 and which benefit profoundly from being consciously let go. Dwelling on past regrets, internalized ageism, excessive worry, physical clutter, old resentments, rigid expectations, and the need to please everyone. The core message weaving through our discussion today is one of liberation through release. While accumulating wisdom and experience is a gift of age, true comfort and peace in our later years often require us to actively shed the weights that no longer serve us. Letting go is not about apathy or giving up on life. Rather, it's an active, empowering choice to clear away the unnecessary burdens to make space for lightness, acceptance, presence, and joy now. It's about curating our inner and outer worlds to support our current well-being. And the most hopeful aspect is this: you possess the wisdom and the agency to choose what you release. It is never too late to start this process. Letting go of even one of these patterns, deciding today to stop ruminating on that old regret, to challenge a negative belief about aging, to declutter one small corner, to forgive an old hurt, to practice flexibility, or to say no to an overwhelming obligation can create a noticeable shift towards greater peace and freedom in your daily life. Small acts of release accumulate into significant liberation. So, I invite you to consider gently, which of these 7 things resonates most with you as something you might be holding on to? What is one small burden, one heavy weight that you feel ready and willing to start letting go of, beginning this week, to create more space for peace in your life? Thank you so much for joining me today for this reflective exploration. I hope it has offered some valuable perspectives and encouragement. If you found this video insightful, please give it a like. Your support helps this message of empowerment reach others. Please feel free to share this video with friends or loved ones who might also benefit from considering the power of letting go in later life. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell for more content focused on mindful living, healthy aging, and finding peace at every stage. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on letting go, or which point resonated most with you. Your wisdom enriches our community. Thank you again for watching. Wishing you lightness, peace, and the courage to release what no longer serves you. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.